You ever notice how nobody really knows what they're doing? Like, not one person. We grow up thinking adults have the answers. Like there's some secret class they all took in their 20s where they learned how to be responsible and make good choices. But then you become an adult and you realize there was no class, there's no guidebook, no training, no secret level you unlock when you turn 18. You just wake up one day and people expect you to have it all figured out while you're standing there mentally still in pajamas, holding a spoon, wondering why life feels like an endless guessing game. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. As kids, we used to look at grown-ups and think, wow, they've got everything together. They were paying bills, driving cars, raising families. But now you see behind the curtain and realize most of them were just improvising. Your parents weren't wise masterminds guiding your path. They were two confused people, trying not to mess you up too much while figuring out how to make rent and avoid losing their minds. They didn't raise you, they survived you. They guessed. And we're doing the same thing now, just guessing, hoping no one notices how scared we are that we're getting it wrong. Every single person you meet is bluffing. Every confident guy at work, every influencer online giving life advice, every person who seems calm, they're all just humans trying to look like they know what they're doing. But nobody does, not even close. The whole world is a massive group project with no teacher, no instructions, and everyone pretending they read the assignment. You start to realize this when you hit that point in life where you're doing the things you used to think only real adults did. You're paying bills, you're answering emails, you're deciding if you should go to the dentist or just tough it out another 6 months. And it hits you, this can't be how it's supposed to work. There's no grand strategy. You're just spinning plates and hoping one doesn't fall. And when one does, you pretend you meant for it to happen, like, oh yeah, I was gonna let that one drop. Totally part of the plan. The funny part is, we all act like we've got it together. We say things like, I'm good, yeah, things are fine. When in reality, we're one inconvenience away from a full existential crisis. We go to work, smile at people, make small talk about the weather, while inside we're screaming, what am I doing? Why am I even here? But no one says that out loud, because that's not what adults do. Adults pretend, we fake composure like it's part of the uniform. Even the big decisions, the ones that are supposed to define our lives, are just educated guesses. What to study, who to marry, whether to have kids, where to live, it's all just a coin flip dressed up as logic. We act like we've got reasons. I chose this because it aligns with my goals. No, you didn't. You chose it because it felt slightly less terrifying than the other option. That's all decision-making really is, picking the fear you can live with. And sometimes, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is realizing that everyone else is looking at you thinking you've got it together. You've become someone else's illusion of stability. Someone's looking at you right now thinking, wow, they're so mature, they must really know what they're doing. Meanwhile, you're Googling how to boil rice without it sticking at 11 p.m. Life's this giant shared hallucination where everyone's pretending to be the adult in the room. We keep waiting for that feeling that now I get it moment. You think it'll come after high school, then after college, then after you get your first job, then maybe after marriage, then maybe after kids, but it never comes. It's just you, forever. Slightly confused, holding your coffee cup, wondering if this is what being alive is supposed to feel like. The truth is, that's all life ever, is a series of guesses, a chain of moments where you go, I hope this works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it explodes in your face. But there's something oddly comforting about that, because if nobody really knows what they're doing, that means nobody's really doing it wrong either. All the pressure we put on ourselves to figure it out, it's a trap. There's nothing to figure out. Life isn't a puzzle to be solved, it's just a mess to be lived through. We're not supposed to master it. We're supposed to stumble, to mess up, to learn the hard way, and then laugh about it when we realize how much time we spent pretending to be wise. And the people who seem like they've figured it out, they're just better at pretending. They've built a calm face over chaos. You talk to them long enough, and the cracks start showing. The confident executive who has panic attacks in his car. The couple that seems perfect but only talks through texts. The friend who posts motivational quotes but can't sleep without pills. Everyone's fighting something invisible. Everyone's improvising. You know what's wild? How much time we spend trying to avoid looking lost. Like, being lost is shameful. You walk into a building you've never been in before, and instead of asking where to go, you pretend you know. You wander around until you accidentally find the right room. That's life, right there. We're all wandering around trying not to look stupid, hoping we end up somewhere decent before someone notices we have no idea what's happening. We're conditioned to think certainty equals success. That you need to know your purpose, your 5-year plan, your goals, but that's not how real life works. Real life is messy and unpredictable. You think you're going one way, and life just flips you upside down. And you adjust, because what else can you do? The only real skill is adaptability. It's not about knowing what to do, it's about figuring it out while it's happening with a straight face, while pretending you meant to. And maybe that's why life feels so damn heavy sometimes. Because we're carrying the weight of expectations that were never real. We think we're behind, like there's some finish line we're supposed to reach by now. You see people your age doing more, having more, being more, and you feel like you missed the memo. But maybe there was no memo. Maybe everyone's just writing their own script, line by line, and trying to make it sound profound later. If you really think about it, the whole idea of having it together is a myth. It's a story people made up to feel safe. Because admitting you don't know what you're doing, that's terrifying. That's standing naked in the middle of chaos and saying, I'm lost, but I'm still going. That kind of honesty scares people, but it's also the most human thing there is. And it's funny how we keep trying to measure our lives against this imaginary standard. Like there's a scoreboard somewhere keeping track. We compare careers, relationships, happiness levels, all while forgetting that every scoreboard is made up. Nobody's keeping score. Nobody's winning. We're just moving through time, tripping, learning, pretending, and occasionally looking back thinking, man, I actually thought I knew what I was doing. Maybe that's the beauty of it, though. Maybe life isn't supposed to make sense. Maybe the guessing is the point, the uncertainty, the mistakes, the endless learning. That's what gives it texture. If we knew everything, if we had the answers, it wouldn't be living, it would just be existing. The confusion, the doubt, the chaos, that's where the real life is happening. And once you see that, once you accept that, everyone's lost you, stop taking it all so seriously. You stop beating yourself up for not having a perfect plan. You start laughing at the absurdity of it all. Because if everyone's guessing, then you're not behind. You're just like everyone else, stumbling your way through the same madness. You realize that maybe there's nothing to figure out, just things to experience, people to love, mistakes to make, and stories to tell later. You start giving yourself permission to not know, to not be perfect, to just live. And that's when life starts to feel a little less damn and a little more real. Because if nobody knows what they're doing, and we're all just guessing our way through, maybe that's not failure. Maybe that's just being human. You ever stop and realize how funny it is that we keep expecting life to make sense? Like, we walk around thinking there's some great design, some big meaning behind all this. Like every heartbreak, every failure, every weird moment at the grocery store is part of some divine plan. And then you look around and you see people arguing over parking spots, politicians yelling at each other on TV, and your phone glitching while you're trying to look up how to be happy. And you think maybe the universe just doesn't care. Not in a cruel way, just not at all. That's what makes life so damn strange. We keep waiting for the universe to send a sign, to whisper something, to show us there's a reason for all this chaos. But nothing happens. You look up at the sky expecting meaning, and it just stares back at you with this blank, infinite indifference. The stars don't care if you're heartbroken. The moon doesn't care if your rent's overdue. The ocean doesn't care that you're stressed. It just keeps going, calm and endless, while you're sitting there spiraling over why your life isn't turning out the way you thought it would. At first, that realization feels harsh. Like, what's the point then? If the universe doesn't care, then why even try? But the more you sit with it, the more you realize that maybe that's the most freeing thing in the world. Because if the universe doesn't care, then it's not judging you either. There's no scoreboard, no invisible hand handing out gold stars for being a good person. You can stop living like someone's keeping track. You can stop pretending you're part of some test where you're supposed to get everything right. You can just live. That's where it gets funny. We spend so much time trying to impress this invisible audience. We dress up for it, make choices for it, lie to ourselves for it. We act like life is a movie, and we're trying to make sure the critics approve. But there are no critics. The seats are empty. Nobody's watching. The only person who ever really sees your life the way you do is you. So why not make it something you actually enjoy? The universe doesn't care if you take a risk. It doesn't care if you quit your job or change careers at 40 or start dancing badly in your kitchen. You can make mistakes, you can fail spectacularly, and the universe will just keep spinning. That's not depressing, that's power. because it means you get to define what matters. You get to make your own meaning. We've been trained to think we need to matter on some cosmic scale. Like, if we don't leave a legacy or change the world, we've failed. But maybe mattering isn't the goal. Maybe the real goal is just to live honestly, to do small, beautiful, ridiculous things that make your brief time here feel alive. Maybe the point isn't to be remembered, but to be fully present while you're still here. Think about it, when you zoom out far enough, none of this makes sense. You're a tiny human on a spinning rock flying through infinite space, holding a little metal box that connects you to other tiny humans complaining about the weather. You're worried about your hairline while stars are exploding light years away. You're angry because someone didn't text you back while the planet is literally on fire. It's absurd. It's cosmic comedy. And the more you see that, the easier it becomes to breathe. It's like the pressure starts to dissolve. You stop needing to be perfect. You stop needing to make your life look like everyone else's. Because once you realize the universe doesn't care, you stop trying to earn its approval, and that's when you actually start to live. You start to find joy in small, stupid, wonderful things. Sitting on your porch at night, laughing with someone you love, eating something you really like without checking your phone. That's it. That's the whole thing. And maybe that's what we've been missing. We keep thinking the big moments are the ones that matter, the promotion, the wedding, the house, the fame. But the big moments are rare, they come and go fast. The real stuff is in between. The quiet moments nobody claps for, the coffee you drink alone before sunrise, the song that hits you at the right time, the stranger who smiles at you when you least expect it. That's the stuff that makes this meaningless, uncaring universe bearable. That's the meaning we create ourselves. It's funny how much anxiety we cause ourselves by pretending life owes us something. We expect fairness, balance, some sort of cosmic justice, but life's not fair, it's random. The rain doesn't fall evenly, luck doesn't distribute itself neatly, and good people suffer sometimes while awful people seem to win. The universe doesn't keep score, it just exists. Once you accept that, you stop waiting for the world to reward you for being good, and you start doing good because it feels right. You stop being kind because you want karma points, and you start being kind because it's who you want to be. That's real freedom, doing what feels right without expecting. Applause from the sky. When you think about it, that's the only thing you really control anyway, how you respond to the chaos. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you show up in the middle of it. You can be the calm in the noise. You can be gentle in a world that doesn't care. You can choose to create small ripples of meaning even when the ocean itself doesn't care where they land. That's your rebellion against the indifference. You can't make the universe care, but you can make yourself care, and that's enough. And yeah, sometimes it still hurts. Sometimes it still feels unfair that bad things happen to good people, that dreams fall apart, that effort doesn't always equal outcome. But that's the deal. You can either fight it or accept it. You can either spend your life screaming at the sky for not making sense, or you can laugh, shrug, and say, all right, fine, I'll make my own sense. Because in the end, that's what everyone's doing. Anyway, making up their own reason to keep going. Some people find it in religion, some in art, some in love, some in chasing their kids around the house. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it's yours. It's personal. It's real to you. And that's what gives life texture. Not the grand cosmic plan we keep searching for. The older you get, the more you see how temporary everything is. The stuff you used to care about so deeply, status, validation, being admired, it fades. You start caring more about peace, about moments that feel honest, about people who make you laugh, not because they're funny, but because they remind you you're still human. You realize you don't need the universe to care. You just need connection. That's what we all crave deep down, not meaning, but connection, to feel like we're part of something, even if it's small. A laugh shared, a hand held, a quiet understanding between two lost people trying to make sense of an uncaring world. That's it. That's all we ever wanted. And it was never cosmic, it was human. Maybe that's the great irony. The universe doesn't care, but that's what gives our caring power. Our love means something precisely because it isn't guaranteed to. Our kindness matters because it's not required. Our laughter matters because it's fleeting. Everything is fragile, temporary, meaningless, and that's what makes it so beautiful. The fact that we can still find joy, still find purpose, still create meaning in a world that doesn't owe us any, that's the most incredible thing about being alive. So maybe life isn't about finding meaning. Maybe it's about creating it, about choosing to care in a world that doesn't, about saying, I'm here, I don't know why, but I'm gonna make this count anyway. You don't need the universe to bless your choices. You don't need destiny to approve your life. You just need to live it fully, honestly, unapologetically. Because the truth is, the universe isn't watching, the stars aren't clapping, the sky isn't gonna write your name in constellations, but somewhere, someone might remember how you made them feel, how you made them laugh, how you showed up when it mattered. And that small human ripple that's enough to make this whole uncaring universe feel, for just a moment, like it does care. And that's why life, for all its chaos and randomness, still feels worth living. You ever notice how somewhere along the line, happiness turned into a job? Like, it used to just be something that happened to you by accident. You'd be walking home one day, the weather was nice, your favorite song came on the radio, you got a burger that tasted better than usual, and for a few minutes, you felt happy. You didn't analyze it, you didn't try to capture it, you just felt it. Now, happiness is this full-time position you're supposed to be qualified for. You've got to manifest it, journal about it, buy books on it, meditate for it, and if you're not smiling while drinking your kale smoothie at sunrise, apparently you're doing life wrong. It's like somewhere we got tricked into thinking happiness is this thing you can achieve if you follow enough steps. 5 steps to inner peace, 7 ways to stay positive, 10 rules for everlasting joy. It's insane. We've turned joy into homework. People are exhausted from trying to be happy. It's like everyone's carrying this invisible checklist. Be grateful, think positive, visualize success, smile more. And we all act like it's working when deep down we're like, man, I just want to take a nap. What's crazy is we didn't used to live like this. There was a time when people were just okay. Not thrilled, not enlightened, not glowing with purpose, just fine. And fine was fine. You'd ask someone how they were doing, they'd say, I'm fine, and that was the end of it. Now, if you say you're fine, people look at you like you've been diagnosed with something. Fine? Just fine? You sure you don't want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to be fine. We've been sold this idea that happiness has to be constant. Like if you're not feeling amazing all the time, you're missing out on some secret everyone else knows. But life doesn't work like that. Real happiness isn't permanent, it's borrowed. It shows up, hangs out for a bit, and then leaves when it wants. You can't force it to stay. You can't schedule it between your meetings and your workouts. You just enjoy it when it comes, and you keep going when it doesn't. That's the deal. And it's wild how we measure our lives now by how happy we look instead of how we actually feel. We post pictures of ourselves smiling, surrounded by friends, holding drinks, pretending that's every moment of our existence. Meanwhile, we're miserable half the time, but too scared to admit it because the world told us that unhappiness is failure. Like if you're not constantly radiating joy, you must be broken. But maybe the problem isn't that we're unhappy. Maybe the problem is that we're obsessed with the idea that we shouldn't be. You look at old photos of your grandparents, no one's smiling. They're standing in front of their house, looking like they just found out about taxes. And yet, they lived full lives. They weren't chasing meaning in every moment. They were just living. Now we're addicted to chasing that high of feeling good all the time, and we're shocked when it fades. But it's supposed to fade. Happiness isn't the baseline, it's the reward. You're supposed to pass through it, not live inside it. And it's funny because the more we try to find happiness, the harder it becomes to feel it. It's like trying to catch a soap bubble with your hands. The tighter you grip, the quicker it disappears. The best moments in life are the ones you don't realize are good until later. You look back and think, man, that was a good time. But in the moment, you were just there. No pressure, no expectations, just living. That's the secret no one tells you. You don't find happiness by chasing it. You find it by forgetting it exists for a while. We've commercialized peace. You can buy candles that promise tranquility, apps that teach you how to breathe, vacations that sell inner balance like it's an add-on package. But peace doesn't come with a price tag. You can't buy it or earn it or force it. It sneaks up on you when you're doing something simple, washing dishes, lying on the couch, watching rain hit the window. You stop thinking for 5 seconds, and suddenly, there it is. That quiet little moment where life doesn't feel so heavy. That's it. That's happiness. But that's not exciting enough for us. We want fireworks. We want our happiness to be dramatic, cinematic, Instagrammable. We want to feel something huge, something that proves we're doing life right. But happiness doesn't shout, it whispers. It's not the big moments, it's the small ones that get ignored because they're not flashy enough to post about. We've traded genuine peace for performative joy, and it's all connected to how we treat discomfort too. We've started acting like sadness is some kind of disease. Like the moment we feel bad, we've got to fix it immediately. But sadness isn't the enemy. It's part of being human. You can't have real happiness without it. The contrast is what makes the good days feel good. You need the rain to appreciate the sun. But we keep trying to skip the rain, and then we wonder why everything feels so dry. We tell people to stay positive, but sometimes the most honest, healthy thing you can do is admit that everything sucks right now. That's not negativity, it's truth. And truth has a weird way of setting you free. You can't fake peace. You can't smile your way out of pain. You have to let yourself feel it, sit in it, and trust that it'll pass, because it always does. And when it does, the joy that comes after isn't forced, it's real. Somewhere along the way, we confused being happy with being distracted. We think if we stay busy enough, if we keep scrolling, shopping, working, achieving, we won't have to feel the emptiness underneath. But that emptiness isn't a flaw, it's a space. It's where meaning has room to grow. It's where you figure out who you are when the noise stops. That silence we're afraid of, that's where peace hides. You know what's strange? The people who seem genuinely at peace are never the ones chasing happiness. They're the ones who've made peace with not having it all the time. They know it comes and goes. They don't panic when it leaves. They don't chase it when it runs away. They just keep living, knowing it'll swing back around eventually. They've stopped making happiness their identity, and that's what gives them freedom. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. You can't. The more you try, the less you have. But if you just let it rest there, gentle and still, it stays for a while. Happiness works like that. You can't grip it, you can't chase it, you can only let it be when it shows up. And when it leaves, don't panic. It's not gone forever, it's just visiting someone else for a while. We keep saying we want to find ourselves, but maybe we're not lost. Maybe we're just distracted by all the noise telling us we should be more than we are. Maybe enough is the word we've forgotten how to say. Maybe fine is fine. Because life isn't supposed to be an endless highlight reel. It's supposed to be a mix. Some joy, some pain, some boredom, some beauty. It's supposed to be uneven. That's what makes it real. And maybe that's the real. The freedom to stop grading your life on a happiness scale. To stop thinking there's a finish line where everything finally feels perfect. There isn't. There's just a collection of moments, some dull, some bright, all fleeting. And if you can start seeing those ordinary in-between moments as enough, you stop chasing and start living. Happiness isn't something you build, it's something you notice. It's already hiding everywhere. In the quiet morning when no one's awake yet. In the way your dog greets you like you've returned from war after a 10-minute walk. In the warmth of your coffee. In the fact that you made it through another day even when you thought you couldn't. That's it. That's all it ever was. And when you finally get that, when you stop trying to fix yourself like you're broken just because you're not blissful every second, you start to feel something deeper. Not joy, exactly, but peace. The kind that sits quietly in your chest and says, yeah, life's weird and hard and unfair sometimes, but it's also enough. Because maybe happiness was never meant to be a goal. Maybe it was just meant to be a side effect of being alive, of paying attention, of not needing everything to be perfect all the time. Maybe it's not something to achieve, but something to allow. And when you stop chasing it, it shows up more often than you'd think. You know what's strange about people now? Nobody just hurts quietly anymore. Pain used to be something private, something you carried, learned from, and slowly healed. Now, it's something you post. Everyone's competing to be the most broken, the most misunderstood, the most tragic. It's like pain became a brand. Somewhere, we turned our struggles into status symbols. You go online, and it's like everyone's auditioning for the role of most emotionally complex human being alive. You see it everywhere. Sad quotes over sunsets, selfies with captions like healing era, people crying in their cars with soft piano music in the background. And you can't even be mad, because we all do it. We've all had that moment where instead of actually processing what we're feeling, we think, wait, this could be content. That's how disconnected we've become. We're not even allowed to just feel bad anymore. We have to package it, make it palatable, make it look poetic. It's not that people shouldn't express themselves. It's that somewhere along the way, expression became performance. We stopped saying, I'm hurting, and started saying, I'm healing, because healing sounds prettier. Healing gets more likes. It's more inspirational, more shareable, but it's also more fake. You can't heal if you're too busy narrating the process, like you're in a documentary. Real healing is ugly. It's boring. It's you sitting alone, staring at a wall, wondering why it still hurts, but nobody wants to see that, and pain used to be something that brought people together. You'd talk to someone, you'd listen, and there'd be this quiet understanding. Yeah, me too, but now we compare it. You tell someone you're struggling, and they say, oh, that's nothing. Wait till you hear what happened to me. Pain turned into a contest. Like there's a trophy for whoever's been through the most. It's exhausting. You can't even vent without feeling like you're entering a competition you never signed up for. The weirdest part is that we use pain for validation now. We wear it like proof that we've lived deeply, that we've survived something. Like if you're not struggling, you're not interesting enough. We glamorize suffering because it makes us look real, grounded, human, but it's an illusion. Real pain doesn't make you interesting, it humbles you, it strips you down. It doesn't want attention, it wants peace. The louder someone is about how much they've suffered, the less they've probably faced it quietly. And maybe that's what we've lost, the quiet. We've forgotten that not everything needs to be shared. There's something sacred about pain that's held in silence. When you sit with it, really sit with it, it changes you in a way that's private, real, and permanent. But we don't give ourselves that chance anymore. The second we feel something, we rush to talk about it, post about it, label it. We don't process it, we perform it. And we're all guilty of it because it's addicting. You post something vulnerable, people flood you with sympathy, and for a second, you feel seen. But then it fades, and you're left needing more. You keep feeding the cycle, confusing attention for connection, sympathy for healing. But attention isn't love, and validation isn't peace. They just feel like it for a minute. It's not that people are bad for doing this, it's just that we've built a culture that rewards vulnerability only when it's visible. We applaud people for sharing their trauma, but we don't actually help them carry it. We say, you're so strong, then scroll past. We double tap someone's pain like it's entertainment. It's not empathy anymore, it's consumption. We've learned to watch each other's suffering like it's a TV show. And because of that, we've become more alone. We mistake public vulnerability for real connection, but it's not the same thing. Real connection doesn't need an audience. It happens in quiet conversations, in honesty that doesn't seek applause. It's telling someone, I'm not okay, and not needing to dress it up. That's what's missing now, the rawness of just saying what's real without trying to make it look meaningful. We've created this strange paradox where we share everything, yet nobody really knows us. We broadcast our feelings, but filter out the parts that might make us look too weak or too messy. It's all curated. Emotion, pain with good lighting, heartbreak with a soundtrack. And that's why it never really goes away, because you can't heal something while you're still trying to make it look beautiful. We've lost the ability to sit in silence and let pain do its job. Pain's not just there to hurt you, it's there to teach you. It tells you what matters, what needs to change, what you should let go of. But you have to actually feel it for that to happen. You have to give it time. You can't rush it or brand it or hashtag it. You can't turn it into a story before it's over. It's uncomfortable, sitting in real pain. Nobody likes it. It makes you feel small, helpless, exposed. But that's where real strength comes from, not from pretending to be okay, not from saying the right things about healing, but from actually facing the dark without needing an audience to cheer you on. And maybe the scariest part of all this is realizing how much we've started to perform even for ourselves. We tell ourselves stories about our pain to make it make sense, to make it noble, to make it less random. But not everything has a lesson. Not every heartbreak comes with wisdom. Some things just break. Some things just hurt, and that's okay. Not every wound has to become content. Some things can just stay quiet. Because when you stop performing your pain, when you stop turning it into something to show, that's when you finally start to heal for real. When it's just you and the silence, no filters, no captions, no one watching, that's when the truth shows up. That's when you learn who you are underneath all the noise. And maybe that's what we're really scared of, the silence. Because in silence, there's no audience, no validation, just you facing what's real. But that's where freedom is hiding. Because when you can finally hurt without needing anyone to see it, that's when the pain stops owning you. And in that quiet, unshared space, you finally remember what it means to feel human again.